Hi YouTube, I am back at the doctor's. So I just wanted to make this really quick video. So today is um, day 2 on our juice feast, and you guys, I haven't seen anyone on the group me yet, but it's open for those who want to go down to the bio and find the link of the group me. And this is for those who are feasting and cannot, are having a hard time. Go there and just reach out, okay? But today is another story time, and I wanted to talk really quick about my childhood. So I was born in Ghana. My mom's from Ghana and my dad's from Sierra Leone. And after I was born there, our family moved to Sierra Leone, and I grew up there for a little while till I was like 7, and then we moved here to America and to Canada, and then went back home when I was in middle school and stayed there till college. So my childhood in terms of food really has been usually healthy foods, natural foods. We weren't vegetarian or anything like that, but we had fresh foods. So if we wanted to have seafood, go down to the beach, you get them, or you go to the market and the people have those fresh foods. When we were here, I think the thing that I really loved here in the West as opposed to back home, which we didn't have at the time, was cereal. So when we're here, we drank cereal. When we're back home, we didn't. There was no cereal there. But and the other thing that wasn't there was sweets. We didn't have sweets as such. Only on special occasions like Christmas or, Ramadan, and then we'll have those special foods. But I had ice cream maybe twice a year, so it's just a different space, and because of that, it's easy to remain fit. Our desserts were fruits, like oranges or mangoes or monkey apples. Those are the pink apples with white inside. Very juicy, very delicious. So though that was pretty much my childhood. I remember not really being a morning eater. So I was always skipping breakfast, even though my mom did make breakfast all the time. But I really, in the morning, for some reason, I always felt nauseous. So I will eat maybe a little light snack at noon, and then later on in the afternoon, 4 or 5, I'll have my big meal, and then a couple of hours later, I'll have my fruits and vegetables. So I remained pretty fit, pretty, slim. Like I was never a child with weight issues, and actually I have a lot of siblings, and none of them have had any weight issues. To this day, I am the only one actually who has a weight problem. Everybody else is tall and slim, and I am, shorter and bigger. So that was it for my childhood, and tomorrow I will talk about, my teenage years from 13 to 19. So just wanted to share that with you. I am trying to kind of go back in my memories to try to figure out, kind of trying to unpack and see what has contributed to my weight, or what has contributed to, emotional eating. I will say that in my childhood, my parents did argue a lot. Okay, Hi, YouTube. I had to actually stop my recording and because the doctor came in, but I am back home now and continuing on with my childhood memories from my childhood. I remember in terms of food, um, always sitting at the table to eat. And, you know, once a day towards late afternoon, evening, my mom will cook and we will sit at the table and we will um, just take our time and eat and talk and laugh. I remember meal times always being hilarious. We will tease each other, and it was always beautiful. My father wasn't, I don't remember him being home a lot of the times. He traveled a lot for his work, he was always busy. My mom was always doing some kind of business, but I do remember her being there all the time. You know, when we got home, she was there and she was very easygoing. A very easygoing parent. You know, you could talk to her about anything. And she encouraged us to talk to her about anything. Um, in terms of the fighting that she and my dad will do, I do remember hearing his voice much more than hers. I did not even really know that she even had a loud voice until later on when I was an adult. But I will tell you that when I reached that age group, but emotionally, I will say I was pretty stable throughout when I was younger. I do think. The only thing I do remember actually though was I ran away when I was 12. Called myself running away, you know, but as someone who's young like that, you know, you don't even pack a suitcase, you pack a little bag and you think that's enough for you to run away. But I ran away because I wanted to go to this sport event. And I asked my mom, she said no. And I decided to ask my dad, you know, and um, I was his favorite child. So I said, well, let me see if I'll ask him. Now, he was always strict, and most of the time he said no, but for some reason he said, yeah, you can go ahead and go to this sporting event, no problem. And then, okay, and then he went to my mom and he says, oh, you know, Ngadi asked me to go to a sport event and I told her that was okay. And all I hear was my mom like, I told her no. And then they call me and my dad is looking at me and he's so disappointed and he's like, all right, so you asked your mom, she said no. Okay, so you can't go. You can't come ask me. So I was very upset and I wrote this letter about my dad being very strict. And I told my niece, who my mom was taking care of her at the time. Well, actually, she's kind of like a cousin, but she was much younger than me. Anyway, I said she was fast asleep, so I woke her up and I said, hey, I'm going to put this runaway letter inside this flower vase. So when you wake up and they're looking for me, tell them I'm gone. And, you know, because they were taking a nap at the time and so was she. And then I just left. I went to the sporting event. I was hanging out with this girl who my mom has said not to hang around with at school. I went to the same school as this girl. And at school, you know, everyone was kind of like, oh, she is, you know, one of those naughty girls who is into boys and has boyfriends and stuff. And, but she was my very good friend. And I'm standing there and it starts to get dark. Now let me tell you, when it gets dark in Sierra Leone, it is dark. You will stand next to someone like this and you will not be able to even see their teeth. You will not be able to see anything. Okay, when it's dark, it's dark. So it started to get dark. And I remember there was some like little cave like structure there at the stadium. And she was under that, and there were like these three guys surrounding her who looked to be much older. Like these guys looked to be at that time maybe even in their like 20 or 18, 19, 20, 21. And she was a little older than me. Actually, she was 14 when I met her, and I was 12. And she was, hugged up with one of these guys. And when I looked in there, she looked kind of scared, but it was kind of trying to be bravado. And somebody kind of nudged towards me and was asking her about me. And she was like, Ingati, go on, go on. I'm going to be over here. And she was trying to tell the guy, oh, don't worry about her. No, she's a good girl. She's a good girl. But you could see, like, I could see that was not a good situation that was going down there. And she looked resigned to whatever was going to happen. And I could see all of this in my 12-year-old mind. And I was like, I got afraid. I became very afraid because it was like, oh my goodness. And when I kind of backed away from that area, I started looking around for an adult who looked trustworthy that I could ask and say, please, God, do you have a car? Take me to my house. This is where I live. So I decided to go by the gate. Everybody was filing out, and I decided to go and stand by the gate and kind of look around and see if I can see an adult who's leaving and kind of tell them my situation and see if they can take me back to my home, because I realized that this running away thing was a bad idea. And of course, those were the days when there was no... I was 12, so that was 1983. Yeah. Anywho, I'm standing there by the gate, like beginning to look terrified. Because my mom says when she saw me, I looked so terrified. And I look, and then I just see my mom coming towards me, and she looks mad as hell. But I was so happy to see her. I was so happy to see her, and she comes and she grabs my arms like this, and she just looked at me and was just like that. And I was just like, thank God my mom is here. That's what I was thinking. And she was pulling me along, and our house was like all the way at the top of some hill, and a lot of times drivers willing to come up that way, they will drop us like near the beach, and then we have to walk. The walk will be like, I want to say it was about a 3 mile, maybe 3 mile walk from that area where the taxi will drop us. And the whole way, she did not say one word to me. I'm happy to see you. She did not answer. That was a long walk. That was the longest walk of my life. And we get home, and she tells me, take your pants off, and you lay on that bed. And she comes with a cane. Anybody in Africa, they know what that cane is. I don't know what that stuff was made up of. It's kind of like a bamboo stick, right? But it's flexible, right? And then it's thin. It's like, I want to say it's maybe like, I got my little tape measure here. All right, this thing is about 1/2 inch wide in diameter, and it's about 4 feet, 4 to 5 feet long.
And if you go like this through the air with it, you'll hear this sound. My mom had never spanked me in my life. She had never spanked me. She told me to lay on that bed. She said, do not move because I don't want to put any marks on your body. Because, you know, if you move, that thing, it will leave a scar. And she didn't want me to go to school and have to be embarrassed because I got beat. They will be able to see the mark, you know. Some parents used to beat their children with this thing and leave marks all over them because they wanted them when they go to school, you can see. So I'm like, okay, you know. So I laid down and she beat me on my bottom 12 strokes. She told me before she said, I'm going to give you 12 strokes. And do not move. I don't want to mark you anywhere but your bottom. And she said, this is because you ran away. You disobeyed me. And you're going to get spanked today. And I think now when I think about it, I think it was also hard for her. Because my mom was a cool parent, you know. I'm still trying to think. I don't think she beat. There was only one other time that she actually spanked my younger brother because he lied. But my mom just wasn't. She wasn't. And even though back in those days, parents spanked you, and also when you went to school, if you were rude or you did something to the teacher or in class, the teachers also had the authority to spank you. They also had a cane. So she spanked me the 12 strokes. And then my father wasn't home when we got there. And then I hear my father's car coming. And I heard, where is she? And I hid in my closet. Because I was like, I am not going to get beat twice. My father had never, he never spanked me with a cane before. And I went in the closet. And I remember as soon as he opened that closet, I just pushed. And so he kind of like fell back. I pushed with all my might because I needed a head start, and I was gone. And I ran down the hall, and at that time my oldest brother, he had the door open like this, and he was like this, bye, as I ran out. And my father was telling me to come back, and I refused. Oh no, mom already spanked me. I'll be spanked for this. Oh no. And with your muscles as a man, you don't get to spank me. So my mom went and contacted some of my father's friends, and they came, and he allowed me to come back into the house. And that was it. So, yeah, you know, and I'd written this whole letter, you know, I am leaving you guys because daddy is too strict and I am a growing woman and I need my freedom. 12 years old. But I tell you, that day I just sat. After that happened, I became like the perfect child. I didn't give them any more problems because what I realized was that, yeah, my dad may be strict. And my mom may have refused me to go to this sporting event. But what I realized in that moment was that I was very lucky. Because when I looked at, you know, my friend who looked terrified but was trying to show a brave face, I realized that life was not for me. That was not the life that I wanted to be. And I didn't want to be in a situation where I'll be in danger, you know, of being raped, being molested. Like I looked and I saw that was not a good situation. So after that, I just, you know, prayed to God, and I was just like, forgive me, let them forgive me. and let me not look outside of my family home for anything, you know. So that was my childhood. Um, yeah, but there are like certain things my mom will always, in terms of food, we really just, we ate for like a necessity to eat. I mean, that's kind of how I took food. Um, we ate together, you know. So eating was just, it was kind of like comfortable. It was like a routine. It was time to spend time with your family. We always spent, you know, boy, at least an hour and a half plus at the table each day, because we'll spend so much time talking. By the time we finish eating our food, the food even will be cold, because we'll talk throughout and laugh throughout. So it was a really wonderful time, and that's how I equated food. Food was a time for family, laughter, um, kind of coming together, you know. And yeah, and the fruit, we had an abundance of fruit. So the fruits were like desserts, you know, that we ate at the end. So I always felt like, oh, we had something sweet today. Once in a blue moon, my mom will bake something. And even when we were in this country prior, my mom will bake something like her bread pudding. But anything that she baked, it wasn't really sweet. They were always kind of, you know, lightly sweet. You know, it wasn't really sweet like that. But she always used a lot of different spices. So eating was a very enjoyable experience. You know, it was about really tasting all the different textures and flavors in the food, you know. And when I learned to cook, I also cooked in that way, you know, and just took my time and just enjoyed the smells, the feel of whatever it is that I was cooking, and stuff. So, yeah. So that was it. So I don't think there's anything. So at least you have what my early memories of food were. So next time, tomorrow, we will continue with our story time, and I will be talking about, let me just look in my little book here that I will be talking about my teen years. So that is from 13 to 19. Thanks for joining me on this journey of, you know, self-discovery, of memory of food, to kind of get emotional and psychological healing, because I think that's where my food addiction is coming from. All right, thanks for joining me and listening. Bye.